Hey, welcome back to the Ray Lucia Show. I'm John Bam Ransom, co-hosting for the great man himself, Ray Lucia. If you have money questions, we can get Ray's take. After the jump, go ahead and go to raylucia.com. That's raylucia.com. Hit the Ask Ray link at the top of the page, and we will get his take on your money questions right after this. If it's Tuesday, I'm always pleased to have somebody here from Always Best Care. Today we've got Carrie Bianco from Torrance, California, business owner extraordinaire, comes from the staffing industry. Carrie, we were talking a little bit before we went to the break. Bobby and I were talking about how more and more people are turning to kind of franchise opportunities and entrepreneurship in order to make maybe retirement a little bit easier for that. Always Best Care certainly is one option for them. Why did you pick Always Best Care, particularly as a business owner?
Number one, it was my passion. My mama died about 10 years ago from Alzheimer's disease, and I did all the wrong things. I have no clue. So I wanted to really give back to society and give them and share it with them, that knowledge and that education that I received from a lot of errors. Number two, I was kind of tired of the corporate world. I'd been laid off when we were all going through a financial downturn.
Sure.
I thought, what do I really want to do? And number three, Always Best Care has several levels that you can achieve financial success.
Right.
And do what you want to do. So that's why I chose them.
Yeah, so many of the people who come on here, the first thing that they lead with is that this happens to be a passion of theirs, and there's usually a personal story that goes into that. And I got to be honest with you. I think there's very few franchise opportunities where people are so committed, personally to both the industry and to the care.
You have to be. This is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job, or passion, if you will.
Right.
And you have to love it, or you get really tired.
Right. Well, okay. So let's talk a little bit about the differences. You come from the staffing industry, which I think really helps your ability to kind of manage one of the key aspects of elder care, which is this difference between having somebody who is an employee and somebody who is an independent contractor. And for families who employ people, for families who bring people in maybe to care for others or employ other people in other ways, this is an important distinction. It's an important legal distinction, isn't it?
Absolutely. So there's the legalities of it, and then there are the emotional aspects of it. I'm going to start with the legalities of it. So how do you know? Do you have an independent contractor, or they refer to a 1099?
Right.
1099 is just a form that the government needs if you are an independent contractor. What is an independent contractor? Somebody that's providing services that really they're not working for you or employed by you, but they're providing services such as a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. They are subject to a self-employment tax, and they have to fill all the required documents from the government. So that would be an independent contractor, or otherwise known as 1099. Better way to explain it is what is not an independent contractor. If you're performing services that are controlled by someone else, that means that somebody else is telling you how to do it, when to do it, what to do. You are not an independent contractor. So can a care provider in your home be an independent contractor? Not legally.
Well, that's a very important distinction, because it takes on a whole different level of liability, not just for taxes, but also for legal liability if you have somebody who's deemed an employee in your home.
And if you're not treating or paying them as an employee, there's all kinds of ramifications.
Sure.
So I'm going to share a little story with you that actually happened to me. It was in my first year of business here with Always Best Care. I had a live-in caregiver, and she was going outside to perform a normal duty, which is taking the trash out.
Right.
She took the trash out. She came back inside. She called me in an hour. Her knee was swollen. I said, you need to go to the hospital immediately, because it was swelling even more and more as the minutes went by. So she went to the hospital. She'd been bitten by a poisonous spider, a brown recluse spider, actually.
Wow.
She stayed in the hospital for 3 months and had 4 different surgeries on her knee. When they finally discharged her, she is classified as permanently disabled. Now, if the family had not hired Always Best Care, but had hired this caregiver independently,
right,
they would have taken their home, they would have taken everything that they have as far as assets, any type of money. They would have lost everything. because the family would have been responsible for her care for the rest of her life.
Yeah, and that's just one of the landmines that Always Best Care can help you kind of avoid when you're out there trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to start your own business. They provide you with that kind of support. The website is alwaysbestcare.com, Always Best Care. You can also get them at 855-470-CARE 2273. That's 470-2273. Okay, so what other kind of services, support services, does Always Best Care provide for the franchisees so that, kind of limit their liability?
Well, obviously, you get a lot of help with the workers' compensation. There's also liability insurance. If you want to work with a hospital and be reputable, you have to carry a certain amount of money on insurance coverage per incident. So they let us know all of the details of that. As far as knocking on doors, who will want to listen to what we have, how do you market? When you have a client, how do you retain a client?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get referrals from that client? And so on and so forth. So step by step, it's a blueprint. And all I need to do, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. All I need to do is follow those steps, and I will be successful.
And you talk about certain kind of levels of involvement or levels of production when it comes to sales and involvement and stuff like that. Can you explain a little bit more what that means for people out there who are thinking about this?
A day in the life. I have a lot of marketing experience as well. So the number one goal is to spread your name and your reputation as quickly as possible. So where and how are you going to do that? First, we talk to assisted living communities. That's a warm lead. It's a warm call. It's not scary. They want to do business with you. And then after that, you find out who they know. So networking is a huge part of it. But they will send, Always Best Care will send somebody down with you wherever you are and walk you through the steps. So they're going to go out and they're going to demonstrate for you. I'm a visual person. I'm a kinetic learner, so I need to have somebody show me.
Sure.
So they will show me. They will have it in print. They will role play with me until I feel extremely confident, and people sense when you are confident.
Hey,
and then the rest just kind of follows.
Hey, the website is alwaysbestcare.com. Always Best Care. You can call them at 855-470-CARE. That's 855-470-CARE. 2273 is the number. And we're talking right now, Carrie Bianco from Torrance, California, who's a business owner, made the decision to go with Always Best Care. And you had quite a bit of experience in the staffing industry, doing executive searches, placements, and things like that. Have you found that to be a nice transition to Always Best Care?
Yes and no. I had to adjust to my audience. So I was accustomed to interviewing and hiring for CPAs, controllers, Fortune 500 companies, and now this is a smaller operation, but it has huge latitude, ways I can grow beyond what I even thought. So I had to adjust my presentation and realize that caregivers are a very unique, special breed of people. And how am I going to get them to feel comfortable? I had to communicate in a different way. But yes, it has helped, but I also have the corporate office behind me to help me make that transition.
Well, so I guess what it comes down to is that the staffing issues probably don't bulk as large as many people would imagine when it comes to running that business. That to some extent there's really going to be more market. It's really more of a marketing component, going out and meeting people and consulting with them. The staffing issues aren't quite as big, right?
Not until you have the volume. Then once you have the volume, I have more employees on the staffing side of my business than I do on the marketing side. So we have to get the business, and then we must retain the business. And most of my clients are with me between 2 and 4 years.
Right.
So that's a long-term commitment, and things are going to come up along the way. Things in any relationship comes up. So what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? How do you let them know, peace of mind, when somebody's passing, that they can rely on you, that they can trust that you're doing what needs to be done.
Well, and you bring up an important point when you talk about your clients being with you to 2 to 4 years. That this is kind of a process. There isn't like just an end, like you have a client and there's an end goal and then it happens once and then it's over. You're going to continue to consult with those folks over a period of time because their care needs are going to change over a period of time, aren't they?
Absolutely. And when we have a client, the first month we see them once a week. After that, it's twice a month until about 3 months, and then it's once a month, unless they need us. So I have 2 care managers that are in the field managing both the caregiver and the client at the same time, so we are visible. Because these caregivers are in a home, this is a personal atmosphere, without really any supervision. So you must be present to ward off any type of error, because one error in this field could mean death to an older person.
Carrie, appreciate you coming by. That's Carrie Bianco with Always Best Care, owner up in Torrance, California. The website is alwaysbestcare.com. That's alwaysbestcare.com. You can get them at 855-470-CARE, 2273. That's the number. 855-470-CARE, 2273 is the number. Hey, when we get back, we got more Ray than ever before. This Ray Lucia show. If you have questions for the great man himself, you go to raylucia.com. That's raylucia.com. Hit the Ask Ray link. Send in your email questions. Time's running out. We're going to get to your questions right after this.